Welcome, everybody, to episode 91 of The Game Changers. I'm your host, Carla, and tonight I'm bringing the heat with none other than Michael Salwan. His knowledge and insights are sure to elevate our conversation as I dig into the game behind the game. A huge shout out to the incredible TSA team for backing this mission of amplifying voices and sparking ideas. This platform exists because of visionaries like them and listeners like you. Whether you're here for fantasy football gold or simply love stories that shift perspectives, you're in the right place. The Game Changers is more than a podcast, it's a movement. Let's kick things off by getting to know our guest a little better tonight. But before we do that, a quick heads up because Michael Generosity, he's donating one of his custom jerseys tonight to a random donor of the Battle of the Sexes tournament. Every dollar you give gets you an entry. So hit that donate button and we'll pull the lucky winner live before the end of the Game Changers. First of all, I'm going to say happy birthday because last Thursday, Michael had a birthday. So happy birthday, Michael, and welcome to the show tonight.
Thank you.
Who
So happy to be
is
on.
Me too. Who is Michael Salwan? So today's guest is someone who's redefining what it means to build community through fantasy football and doing it with heart, data, and a whole lot of girl dad energy. Michael Salwan is a proud father of three beautiful daughters, including 5-year-old twins and a 2-year-old who keeps him on his toes. By day, he builds data products at Chase, but by night, and let's be honest, probably during nap time too, who knows? He's deep in dynasty leagues, stat sheets, and tournament planning. Originally from Cleveland, yes, he's a Brown fan, and yes, fantasy football was his escape route. Michael's love for the game evolved into something much bigger. After joining the Scottish Bowl in 2022 and hosting live drafts in St. Louis, he saw an opportunity to make fantasy football more inclusive. That spark led to the creation of Battle of the Sexes, a tournament designed to welcome and empower women in a space that's often male dominated. What started as a small idea with 12 players has grown into a 336 person powerhouse with 168 women competing and nearly 20K raised for charities like Living Beyond Breast Cancer, Zero Prostate, and Play Like a Girl. Last year, Play Like a Girl even donated shirts for the inaugural Daddy Daughter division, a heartfelt nod to Michael's mission and his role as a father. He's a connector, a creator, and a champion for equity in fantasy sports. Please welcome to the pod, Michael Salwan. Hi, Michael. How are you tonight?
Thank you for that amazing introduction. I really appreciate that.
Of
And
course, of
I'm
course.
so happy to be here.
I'm so happy to be here, for you to be here too. So we were talking on the side, just to let you know that Michael Salwan is a Lebanese by blood. So we are like two Lebanese right now trying to connect and talk about some of the fantasy sports stuff. I'm like, you made me so happy right now, Michael, honestly.
Well, I'll tell you one other thing we have in common. We
Tell
both
me.
really love Zumba. Let me tell you. So when I
Really?
was when I was 20, way back in the day, I fell in love with Zumba at my local YMCA, and even brought Zumba to kids at our local day camp that I was running. And so we taught some of the dances to the kids, and I even created my own song at the time to one of the Black Eyed Peas songs, "My Humps." And so it was like it was so much fun. But I fell in love with it. I lost a lot of weight doing it. It was a huge passion of mine, and so when I remembered when I first saw your bio that you were really into Zumba, and that I was like, I had to connect with her on that as well. So
Oh my God, I love that. Oh my God, maybe we're gonna have like a Zumba tournament at some point, Mike.
I think it's the Lebanese in our blood to dance and shake,
I agree.
which fits with it. Yeah.
I agree. Oh my God, you just made me more happy right now. You just made me really happy. So let's talk. What early memories of growing up in Cleveland shaped your love for sports and data?
So and a lot of it started with my dad. He really always pushed sports onto us, me and my brother. We were always big Cleveland fans when it was the Indians and the Browns, the Cavs. And one of my fondest memories was actually when I turned 10, my dad took me to a Cleveland Indians game. And this was at their old stadium when you could be right on the field. And we were walking around the stadium, and he walked me right down to the batting cages, and I was like, oh, we'll just hang out there because the game had a late start. It had rained, so they were hitting balls against the net. And as the game was about to start, and the usher was asking us to go back to our seat, and my dad was like, no, these are our seats. And I was like, no, you're joking. And so it was like one of the best experiences I've had. And growing up in Cleveland, obviously huge Browns fan. We went to a few games, but we ended up moving to the Dayton area, and I still just was always a big Cleveland fan. My brother still has, even living in San Diego, front row dog pound seats. And so my current wife, a few years ago, I took her to a Bears Browns game, and it was like the middle of winter, and
Oh my God.
God bless her, she toughed it out. We went early for tailgating, but then we only made it to halftime because it was just so cold. But it's being a Browns fan, it's a little bit heartbreaking, and so I fell in love with fantasy because I could put together my own team and have other success through that way. So, and then just a few years ago, I really got into Dynasty and trying to get more involved with it because some of the leagues I were in, it didn't have a lot of action in it. So I was like, I'm going to get out of that, and I'm going to try and find some more engaging leagues. And now today I'm a little bit too many leagues, but it's a lot of fun. The community that is built around Scott Fish and fantasy football is just tremendous.
I love that. Yeah, I love it. So, which childhood experiences taught you discipline or teamwork?
Oh man. So I played basketball from fourth grade to 11th grade. And I was always in basically a sport of seasons. So whether it was baseball, track, basketball, football, I kind of played a little bit of everything. I even
Yes.
swam over the summer. And so, I always knew how much teamwork was really important. And it's something that I instill in my girls today. They finally got to the age to play team sports, so they're playing on a soccer team, and I'm one of the coaches. And it can be a little bit frustrating at times because they're 5, but it's so much fun watching them grow and work as a team. And I'm a big like cheerleader on the
Yes.
sidelines, and so during one of the games I was getting them to like cheer on their teammates. And you could just see like everybody just got off the bench. They were excited. They were having so much fun.
Saying you're a big cheerleader, do you do dabke a lot or do you do belly dance?
I don't want
Only
to.
us
I don't
know
want to
what
go.
we're
I
talking
don't want to
about.
go into my. So there's at various family events, it has been known for me to do dances to "Baby Got Back,"
Oh
and
my God.
I I've done Baby Got Back at weddings. I've done Baby Got Back at anniversary parties. It's kind of been my thing. But yeah, I and at one of my friends' weddings, we did even did the Gangnam Style up and down these really fancy stairs at this hotel in Chicago. It was so I'm a bit of a dancer um, when I can. So.
I love that. I want to go to Chicago today so I can party with you right now, Michael. Are you kidding me? That's amazing. I love that. Who was your biggest role model growing up and why?
Ooh, my biggest role model. Um, I hate to just be the cliche, but
Yes.
my parents were obviously huge role models for me. Outside of my parents, I had a one person that really stuck with me is a math teacher I had in high school. He was one of the coaches for a lot of teams, and he stayed with us after to teach us additional math and just like a really, cool guy who instilled a lot of really good principles. I had a lot of great teachers. I had a teacher in college who was my statistics teacher that got me to fall in love with doing statistics. Throughout, I've had several really big influences that have kind of shaped the direction that I've gone.
Nice. So, what led you into or motivated you to pursue higher education at UNI and Ohio State?
Yeah, so when I was very interested in computer science, and I also because at the time I really wanted to do animation. Did
Yes.
not realize that computer science had nothing to do with animation.
Yeah.
But I also was my senior year, I got cut from my basketball team and got into photography. And I was doing a lot of sports photography my senior year and really was interested in working for a school newspaper. And so I wanted to go somewhere that was really big in kind of both that would give me that opportunity. And at Illinois, just fell in love with the campus, the Big Ten atmosphere, all the things that brought. And I was also got the opportunity to be a photographer for the school yearbook. So I got to go to all of the sports events without any of the pressure of the newspaper. So I got to go to my freshman year, the Bears were playing on campus because Chicago Stadium was being renovated. So I got to be on the field for the Brady versus the Bears the year after Brady won his first Super Bowl. I got to take pictures of all the football and basketball games. Freshman year, the football team was really good. Throughout my time, the basketball team had D. Brown, Darren Williams, went to the national championship. I got to see Chris Paul in person. And then it took me to Ohio State, where I also did photography there and went to the national championship game when they played LSU. But math, I found out I didn't really love computer science, was able to do math and statistics, and that brought me to where I'm at today doing analytics. I actually wanted to do like biostatistics, but
Yes.
then didn't really pass the PhD. So it's a funny story. At Ohio State, my grad school program was basically my undergrad. So it was I had more fun partying and just having fun there. Um, but you take a test, and if you pass one part, you get your master's. If you pass the second part, you go on for your PhD. I didn't pass it the first time, and the second time was like 2 days after the national championship game. So I ended up being just with a master's, and I actually fell in love with analytics, and I love doing it, and that's where I'm at Chase today doing analytics.
I love that. So, reflecting on your upbringing, what one lesson stands out as most valuable today?
Lesson that stands out. Um, you know, I think I mean obviously just like being kind to people and like not trying to rock the boat. Um, I was told once that somebody could looked in my eyes and said you you don't get angry off or easy, but when you do, watch out. And so I've always tried to be even tempered. It's a little tough when you've got three little ones who really
Yes,
like to push your buttons. But I try not to let things bother me too much. I always trying to be inclusive. I try and uh, just like have fun with whatever I try and do because life is too short to
I
worry too much about things.
agree. I love that. And our kids teach us a lot. They do teach us a lot.
The
What
funniest
was,
thing about sorry, I was just gonna say
go ahead. Yes,
the funniest thing about having kids is that they reflect a lot of you in them. And so sometimes it's hard to get mad at them on their traits when they're your traits as well. Um, one of my daughters is extremely competitive, to the point where it's like, hey, it's your sisters, like stop, you know. But then I look and I'm also super competitive, so it's like those little things get reflected back into you from your kids, and sometimes it's a little bit eye-opening to some extent.
It is. It is because we give so much like from us into them,
Yeah.
and we don't see it in us, but we see it in them a lot, which is really like an eye-opening, like you said. That's amazing. So, what was your first role building data products at Chase like?
So I started 15 years ago doing
Wow.
campaigns around checking and savings accounts. So I,
Yes.
those coupons that you would get in the mail, open a checking account, you'll get, some money. I was doing a lot of the analytics around that and trying to just understand, what the behavior of somebody. And then I got to a point where I just wanted something different. So I ended up doing work with their strategy team, and it led me to just like this expansive knowledge of data across the bank, really understand customers, the data, and it led me to where I'm at today, where I'm one of the main thought leaders when it comes to building data, and understanding who a customer is, and that kind of thing. So I spend my life in doing data. I work from home in St. Louis. Working from home gives me the ability to manage some of the fantasy stuff that I do, but I've just really enjoyed working with data and building these complicated data sets, and then just solving strategy problems, like that to me is fun. you know
This is something that you study for it and you
yeah,
it became you, right?
exactly.
Um, can you describe a defining project that accelerated your career growth?
Well, I've had a couple. So working with CCV strategy really opened me up to basically being the knowledge of all the data. And some of my old managers have said that I know where all the bodies are buried in terms of like the data, which is kind of
Yes.
fun. More recently, we had this massive project with multiple lines of business, finance, etc., to understand how to count customers. And it's something seems so simple. It's like how many customers do we have at Chase, but it's actually not simple at all, because of the number of roles that people can have on accounts. And so it was this really long project that has now like defined what analytics teams use. So it's kind of fun to have data sets named after you, and be like known by your last name. Like go to him because he knows how to answer the question.
That's such an amazing thing. So Vince was saying that he never went to St. Louis, but he did go to high school with a girl named Louise, though.
I saw that. I'll tell you, Vince. Vince made me laugh so much. So we trying to keep it interesting. The draft goes on for a couple weeks, so every day I would do these like daily, comments and just fun facts. And he would always come back with these like really funny things. And so I love Vince. Vince has been awesome.
So I just want to say hi to everybody. I'm not gonna say names, but we have everybody tonight in here just coming for you, Mike. And they are like the comments are on fire, talking to you, talking about what you're saying and stuff like that. And I do have someone from UK that told me to say hi to you tonight. His name is Adam, and he said to say thank you for helping him with his charity tournament.
Yep.
Adam Murphet.
Yep. Yeah. I
So
so I've I've learned how to capture the
Wendy.
sleeper data, the data that comes from sleeper, and so I actually help the JTT Cup and the FFCC competitions to extract their data so they can report it out. So that's been something I've done for the JTT Cup for the last couple of years now, and FFCC asked me to do it this year. And it's something that I just enjoy doing because it's fun working with the data. It's fun, playing with the numbers and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's been an honor helping some of these other tournaments because as you guys know, you want to see these results as soon as you can, and so I try and help get the data as fast as I can to them.
Agreed. I love that. I love that someone from UK, like, he told me today, "Oh, you have Michael Salwan. He's a friend of mine. Please say hi." So I love hearing this stuff, and this is really amazing. This is what make our life much easier at some point. So tell me, Michael, what challenges have you faced in scaling that data product at a large bank?
Oh man, I think the hardest thing, honestly, is at a large bank, everything becomes so siloed. So
Yeah.
everybody's kind of doing their own thing, and getting them to adopt something that is outside of, something that they've built or something that they are familiar with. That has been really the hardest thing because everybody is so ingrained to doing the same thing over and over. I liken it to the Titanic. It's a very very big cruise ship that is hard to move, and so it makes changes in very slow motions, and that I think has been really the hardest thing, to deal with that.
And what metrics do you track to measure a product's success?
A lot of it is adoption, and so I'm so excited when I see some of my data sets have 400 plus users, 700 users.
Wow.
It's especially because they're not like the main source data. It's
Yes.
it's something that's been curated for a particular audience, so the usage is going to be lower than some. But some of the things that I produce have become like the cornerstone for people to use at analytics. And I was doing an event today for employee appreciation week where we were packing kits for they were medical kits to go overseas for different things. And
Yes.
I was talking with some of the bankers about segmentation that I had built, and they were like, "Oh my God, we use that!" So like people who don't have anything to do with analytics still get impacted by the stuff that we build and do. So it's pretty exciting.
And how do you stay current with rapidly evolving analytics technologies?
It's funny how while so many things change, everything stays the same. At
Yeah.
the end of the day, when you extract data, it's using the same language in different packages or different tools. And when people are trying to use art AI in their work, a lot of it
Yes.
is you have to know the context. And I think a lot of times people lose the context, and if you don't have the right context added, you get the wrong answers.
Agreed.
It's funny how AI is very. I saw something where it was like, AI is very. It always loves you. Like it says, "Oh, that's a great question that you asked. I'm so glad you thought of that." And
Yeah.
I've I've tried to use it when asking questions about who to draft and who to start and etc. And it's funny because it doesn't know who the players are on the right teams. I'm like, hey, by the way, I thought somebody was traded. And they're like, oh yeah, I forgot. Thank you for telling me. So it's great to some extent, but it also misses a lot. So that's
Agreed.
why it's so frustrating when you see some of these um, produce content producers for fantasy football, being replaced because you can't replace some of that insight and all that. So it's um, I like to say that knowledge and understanding of things is going to go way beyond just some of this artificial garbage that goes in. So
100%. AI will never take over a human being
no,
because at the end of the day, it's still computer. It's
yep,
still like not, it doesn't have life in it.
yep.
So I agree with you 100%. So Anne does have one question for you. It's how many leagues are you in this season?
I have it all up because I keep everything in a spreadsheet as most normal analytic people do. So last year I was in 32 leagues, which I would say is a lot, but then I hear people who have like 100 leagues. So, it's a lot for me. I'm only in 20, I would say 24 now, because one of them is the Tadpole Bowl, college football, doing that for the first time. And it's kind of split. So I've got 12 leagues that are dynasty, and then 12 leagues that are redraft. So I kind of splitting it up a little bit. I tried to cut back a little bit this year, but it's so hard when you've got all these, amazing charities that are out there that they just kind
Right.
of rope you in to do more and more.
I
But I'm having
agree.
fun with it.
Yeah,
In
I
in
agree.
fact,
I don't
I'm
know how you do
yeah.
it. It's crazy. I don't know.
Best ball helps. I will say best ball helps. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know how I do it either, and I'm honored to say that I'm on the top of the leaderboard for the Gods and Goddesses tournament. Very excited. And
nice.
I have no clue how this even happened, but I was number one. Now I'm number two in the Tadpole Bowl overall. So I don't know how, because I've never done college football before, but it's fun.
That's so cool. That's so cool. So, what has been your proudest professional achievement to date?
My proudest professional achievement. Um, well, it has to do. I'll just one of the things that I worked on. It's for those who can see it. I was named Champions of Chase, which is like the
Wow.
highest award that you can win at Chase, for one of the projects that I was working on. So, it was a testament to how important it was, how much time it took. And that's one of those like little things that you don't always get, recognition for some of the things, but when you do, it really means a lot.
That's amazing. I love that. Congratulations. I'm gonna say it again, you guys. If you donate, we're gonna go, like, we're gonna give you 5 more minutes. So if you donate, and JC will put the link. If you donate tonight, we're gonna do a drawing, and you're gonna have a signed jersey. So let's go, guys. Let's push these buttons and donate for tonight's charity. What drew you first to fantasy football in the first place, Michael?
I, so it allowed me to just enjoy the game a little bit more. It
Yes.
was kind of fun. A lot of it was playing with my friends and family. My dad always played fantasy baseball. He would take me to Cleveland, where him and his buddies would do auction drafts in like this big, audience. They would go through the teams and pick the players. And then I was, in college, and it was just something to do. And then my cousin, my brother, and we did a league together, and it was a lot of fun. It was a keeper league, and every year we would do a wrestling Royal Rumble. My cousin would simulate it, and so we would pick players, and that would determine the draft order. So that was a lot of fun. And then I came to St. Louis, and I joined a league with some of the people that my wife works with. And yeah, it was just I never really dabbled in it too much. I do remember like very much years ago, that I was watching ESPN, and I remember like Stefania Bell being recognized for the Scott Fish Bowl, because she was like in the top 25, or forget what it was. But I remember hearing about it, but I never really thought much of it at the time. Um, but yeah, it was literally just something to pass the time in college and just have fun. And again, Browns weren't very good, so it was like something to like keep entertained in the rest of the league, and be able to follow the players.
Funny because Stefania Bell is coming next week on the show. Saying
Ooh.
her name right now. That's such an amazing thing. So, Michael, did you ever go to the expo?
I have not yet. It is something that I really want to go. I was almost going to go this year. I changed my mind at the last minute. But I think I really want to go. And my dream is that, not my, I know it's a silly dream, but there's the Queen's Classic, there's the King's Classic. Why not a battle of the sexes? Like, I think it's just a natural fit as part of that, especially with how big this tournament has gotten. I mean, like, where else do you find 168 women playing fantasy football in one? I mean, it's just so exciting how this has gotten to be so big. So
Let's
I
talk
do
to
think
Bob.
I, I think I'm going to really try and make an effort to go next year.
So, are you gonna bring the Battle of the Sexes to the expo next year?
I I would love to. I'm going to see whatever I can do. I'm going to try and bring the Battle of the Sexes to the expo.
That's amazing. I'm just like in awe right now, just hearing about it. That would be really cool. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
And
Um,
and Wendy is awesome. I have to give a shout out to Wendy because everybody knows who Wendy is. Wendy
yes,
is, I mean, it's hard not to miss her. She's this towering presence.
yes.
And if it wasn't for her, she really helped to start getting the recruitment. She's the one who got Stefania Bell, Andy Behrens, some of the big names to come and play. And I mean, she's just the sweetest, person who always is there for you, always has your back. And it's been an honor. We were in the whole reason. I mean, I can talk about this later, but she just is an amazing friend, who I've met through fantasy football, in addition to a number of other people. And
Agree.
it's just been a great time.
So this all started, the game changer started me and Wendy. And then she left me to go with you and to be to do something with the women of fantasy football, which
Yep.
I totally applaud for that. And I'm super proud of her. I'm super proud to call her a sister. And we always like text, we always talk to each other, even though that we don't see each other as much as we want to on the pod, but she's always coming here to say hi, at least like once in a blue moon. And we love you too, Wendy. We love you too. We love you a lot. And we always, I always applaud for your success, my friend. Yeah, I'm saying that about her. She's gonna be on the show on the 100th episode. So I'm so
Thanks so
excited
much.
about it because it all started with me and Wendy. So we're gonna be on the she's gonna be on
Yep.
the 100th episode, and that's such an amazing thing. So what do you think, Michael? Do you wanna put the names in? Is
Yeah.
anyone else wants to donate, or we're all good with that?
I think we're good. So just to start, when we talked about $20,000, we just shy of $20,000 over 3 years, which is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I never in my
Awesome.
wildest dreams, when I was coming up with this tournament with Wendy, thought that we would get as many people playing and raise as much money as we have. $20,000, like I said, is just fantastic. We have so many fun people participating. One of the proudest things that I have of this is the daddy daughter divisions, which is just
Yes.
so much fun. It's a blast. And one of the daughters had the highest score last week. And so
Wow.
we give away prizes for the highest score over the course of the year, and it's just so cool. So one of the other things I will do before we give this away, I also want to tell everybody we have partnered with Gridiron Goddess. We have a link that is live for merchandise. And so we will be sharing that out. I'll share it out to all the people in the divisions. Um, we've got t-shirts, we've got hats, trucker hats, we've got tote bags, we've got cups, we've got shot glasses, all with new logos on it. One of my buddies, Ryan, who's in Seattle, helped with some of the logos. and
Wow.
and I have to call her out because she is just like one of the nicest, most amazing people. Lisa Hippard, she had, when we were trying to fill up spots, she was recruiting like crazy. She was she did the new main logo that you'll see on this wheel of names when we put it up. But she's been absolutely fantastic, and it's so great all the people who've stepped in and asked to help with this tournament and with doing things here and there. So yeah.
That's awesome, Michael. I love that. Thank you for shouting out for everybody that's helping as well. And we're gonna talk more about the tournaments. So let's put the JC. You wanna put the wheel up so we can see who's winning the jersey for tonight?
Okay, little drum roll. Okay,
Let's go.
who's it gonna be?
I love the logo. That's so cool.
Sarah Levin.
Sarah Levin. So Sarah Levin, if you're here, please connect with Michael. If not, we can put her name so she can connect with you at some point and get her jersey.
Oh, this
And
is fun. So
that's
Sarah is
awesome.
a part of a husband and wife combo that
Nice.
play in the tournament. They are both in the TLC versus Outcast division. Elliot Props, who is a guy that I've played fantasy football with, I'm very excited for them to win this. So very exciting.
That's so cool. Come on, Snow Cone. Are you kidding me right now? It's live. Nothing is rigged. If it's rigged, I would be winning it. Let's go. Okay, Michael, let's continue with some of the fantasy football stuff. So,
Yes.
tell me a little bit, which rookie season taught you the most about fantasy unpredictability?
Which rookie season?
Yes.
Oh man. That's a really difficult question. You know, I'll just go in general. It's kind of funny how much hype rookies get in the preseason. I mean, my Scott Fishbowl team today has like 5 or 6 rookies that I drafted, and the ones that are doing the best are not the ones that I thought were going to be doing the best. So it's funny how much hype gets put on rookies to start, and then they're human beings, like they've
Yes.
not experienced this before, and they just get kind of like hit in the mouth a little bit. But it's going to be fun to see over the course of the year how some of these rookies progress. I see one of the from being a Browns fan. Fannin, Harold Fannin on as a tight end for the Browns has been a huge success, and I was lucky enough to pick him up. Um, but yeah, it's just kind of fun watching the games, and the best thing about Dynasty is being involved all throughout the year,
Yes.
and honestly being involved in the Tadpole Bowl. I've learned so much more about these college players than I've ever had before, because I'm having to like dig into the game, because there's no starting lineups, there's no depth charts, there's nothing. And so it's like trying to do research on some of these players. It's been very eye-opening.
It is. It's crazy. It's crazy. So, Snow Cone, I can tell you that you won my heart for just tonight, right now. Would that make you happy? I love that. I love that. So, what was your first major fantasy football triumph or upset?
uh well, last I would say my biggest one was last year. So last
Yes.
year I took on an orphan, um so I didn't have to pay for it, and got first place and won $800, which was amazing. But
Oh,
was what was so
half half.
crazy about that was well, yeah, fantasy football fuels a lot of my life. No, what was so crazy about that game, and why it was a big triumph, is like going into the final game, it was me and this other guy who were just like we had dominated all year,
Yes.
and we go in and I'm up by a pretty good amount, but he still had like 2 guys left, and it was best ball. So like he needed to not only have a really big game by those players, but enough where it was over and above the next guy who was already in the lineup. And I ended up winning by like less than a point. So to win first place in the championship by less than a point with that much on the line, was like blew
Crazy.
my mind, and it was pretty crazy.
Oh my God. That's insane. Just for a point, it's like,
Yeah, yeah,
oh my God. That's yeah. This hurt. This hurt a lot.
yes.
How did you first get selected for the Scottish Bowl in 2022?
So it's actually kind of funny. The first time that I was selected, it was through I think it was a 100-yard dash, or it was a duck race, or something, and I was nominated by Casey Kasem, who I'm
I love
sure
this.
a number of people know who Casey is. She's
Yes,
awesome. She's
yes.
a very big in the community, but she was the one that kind of helped get me in the door. And then there's a guy who was um, kind of hosting a St. Louis, like, hey, everybody in St. Louis, let's get together and have a live draft, but not really a live draft. His name's Mike Vella. He runs a company down here out of St. Louis. And so we got together, we drafted, then we played some golf together. And then the next year he ran another live draft. And so I was able to get in through that. And then with Battle of the Sexes, I'm not saying that it was like I'm not guaranteed. You're never guaranteed a spot, obviously, but it certainly helped me to get in by running this tournament. So it's been fun having Scott on, being able to talk to him on the side about
Yes.
advice. And one of the biggest things that he told me in terms of advice was to make this free. And so Battle of the Sexes is free to play. You don't have to donate. But that's where we've had donations to win prizes. But it was a really big thing. And then just some of the people that we've gotten to play, Stefania is one. And then one of my big gets, which I'm super excited about, James Rodet Rodriguez, who, if you guys know Psych, if you know some of these TV shows he's in, I was in his Eliminator tournament last year, and I won it. And I said, hey, James, any kind of a prize I can get? And I was like, can you play in my tournament? And so he's in my tournament, and in my division, playing with my friends and family, which is kind
So
of fun.
cool.
So,
That's
yeah.
so cool, Michael. I love that. So the people that you meet, like sometimes in person or just because you're playing with them, it's a big, huge deal. Like
Yeah.
you form a really great community, which is really memorable.
Yeah. Honestly, one of my closest friends now is a guy named Ryan, who's a coach in Seattle. I've never met the guy, but we talk
Wow.
all the time about fantasy football. We shoot ideas back and forth. I send him trade ideas. He gives me his feedback. We talk about the games and stuff. And when he's offline or busy with family, or stuck in hours of football practice, as a coach, like I know that's when I've gone to the Chat GPT and I'm like, man, it's not as good. But yeah, it's kind of crazy how you can have some of your closest people be people who you've never actually met before.
That's amazing. Like the best of friends, sometimes you can connect with them online and then you just meet up and it's like
Yeah.
they everything is history. It's amazing. Tell me a little bit about, we were talking about Scottish Bowl, and Scottish Bowl, we know that the drafting is more in person, that it's online. Did you ever go to a drafting in person? And if you did, what was it like drafting in person alongside League Legends?
Yeah, so I think it was last year or 2 years ago. St. Louis had a live draft, and it was a lot of fun to see some of those names in person. One of them, it goes by Unna Cruffness. You would probably know her because she is also very data driven and puts together some amazing graphics around the drafting, and where players finish and stuff. She was in the St. Louis draft, very reserved, but extremely nice and sweet. And so it was really cool to interact with those folks. I will say, for me, it was a little bit, I get very into my head when it comes to statistics and analytics. And so I probably had one of my worst drafts because I had to make quick decisions, and I'm not always good with that. So the having the 4 hour slow draft allows me to like react and think about things and take on all the evidence and stuff. But it was so much fun. I highly recommend it. I wish I could go to some of these larger events that have 100 people. Be yes. So here's the funny thing: the Chicago Live Draft. I actually had signed up to do a Chicago Live Draft the first year that I was going to play, and my family and we all actually were in Chicago at the time, but we had really little kids. We didn't really have a way of like, if I went there, how was she going to get around? And so she would be
Yeah.
stuck. So I ended up backing out of it. Part of it was also because Andy Barron's backed out of it, and that's I really wanted to be in the live draft with him. But yeah, it would be a lot of fun to make it to Chicago for the live draft because I've seen all the pictures and the videos, and it just looks like a lot of fun.
I love Andy. And the last time I did a live game changers with him, so JC was there. We were at the expo, and he kept telling me every single time I would ask him a question, why am I telling you my secrets? Like you're taking out a lot of my secrets without even like me. I don't want to say that, and you are just asking me those. So I just love Andy, and I cannot but wish him the best. Seriously, he's such an amazing guy, like you as well, Mike.
Well, he
Um,
was one of the guys that I followed, years and years ago when I first started
yes,
playing. He would pop up with his videos on Yahoo talking about the players, and I'm like,
uh,
and that, him and Brad Evans were the two guys that like I remember, way back in the day when I was playing fantasy football.
yes, he's such an amazing guy. I just love him. So let me ask you that, and because you do a lot of remote like events, how can you or do you recreate the live event energy for remote participants?
Well, I have a lot of my data and I have it all over the place.
Yes.
And so what I was actually doing, I haven't done it as much recently, but I was keeping track of all of the drafts. And so I would be able to see like everybody in my position, where were you drafting, what were you drafting, who were you drafting, so that I could, use that to my advantage to some extent. It's very difficult um, to mimic that. But I will say the draft chats that they have on Twitter really help with that because you feel like you have this huge community that is all rooting for you to and all giving you like the same tips and tricks, and so you kind of get that to some extent. It's like you have this whole team in your corner that all wants you to succeed because you're in that same draft spot as they are. And
Yes.
I think that is so much fun. That's, I would say, the positive to drafting in a slow draft versus a live draft, because in a live draft you really don't have a big crowd in your corner, but when you're doing a slow draft you've got that crowd in your corner and it like hypes you up. And then when you get somebody who falls to you, everybody's like, oh my god, that's so awesome that they fell to you, like, and so that's I think how you can kind of recreate it to some extent.
I love that. So let's talk a little bit about Battle of the Sexes. I'm not sure if everybody knows how did the idea of an inclusive tournament first strike you. And so tell me a little bit about the idea and what conversations inspired the Battle of the Sexes name.
Yeah. So what it came out of the first year that I was doing Scott Fishbowl. We were in an eights chat. I was in the eighth draft spot, and a collection of us decided, hey, let's get together a dynasty league. And so we built a league called the Charity of Eights. And in that, we recruited Wendy Early to play with us. She was the only girl that was playing with us that year. She had
Wow.
never done fantasy or dynasty before, so she was like, I'm going to give it a try. Found out dynasty was not for her, but she had a lot of fun with it. And during that, we were just kind of like talking about the fact that a lot of the leagues I play in never have any women playing, and I'd always wanted to play in a league with more women. And so I
Yes.
thought, well, why don't I create a tournament that forces an equal number of men and women? And so, and I thought, well, what better name to put on it than Battle of the Sexes? Now, it's not like men better than women, etc. It's more
True.
to, and so the name has kind of gotten, at the beginning, got a negative like connotation to it, but once they heard the mission of it and what we're really trying to do, I think everybody bought on, and so it allowed it to grow a little bit. But it grew because I wanted to force it so that women didn't feel nervous or scared or whatever the case may be to play, because it would be 6 men, 6 women, equal
Yes.
playing field. And I've been able to get my mom to play. She's become, like obsessed with it. I've gotten some of my friends to play who've never played before. We've got, spouses that are playing, kids that are playing. It's really just to like grow this tournament. And at the very beginning, it kind of started off small. We probably had, 36, 48, something like that playing. And then we brought the idea to Howard Bender, who brought us on his radio show.
Yes.
And we talked about it for about 10 minutes or so. And overnight, I'm not joking you, overnight, the registration doubled. And
Wow.
it just blew up to more than anything that I could ever imagine. And so we got 180 people playing the first year, which again, that's 90 women playing
That's
fantasy football in the
crazy.
first year. And even in the first year, we raised 57, almost $6,000.
Wow.
And then last year we grew even more, so we went from 180 to 300, which was like unbelievable. 300 people playing. And then this year it seemed like it was going to start off slow, but then there was like a rumble that just kept it going, and we ended up getting to 336 people. And so it's been a lot of fun. Each year we've had a different theme that was kind of like a guys versus girls theme. So this year it's musicians, which is where some of the logos came about. And so it's a musician versus a girl musician, the same kind of thing. So, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's
I
been
saw, yeah,
yeah,
I saw the logo with the music. I
yes,
wanted to ask about it. That's really cool. I love that. I
yeah,
love that.
it
So
yeah.
you answered a lot of my questions. I wanted to ask about Wendy Early, how she her role shaped the concept, and then Howard Bender. How did you secure him for Sirius XM invitation?
Oh man, Wendy had a lot to do with a lot of this. I mean,
Yeah,
Wendy, like I've said, is this magnanimous personality that you can't run away from, and she will find you, she will track you down, and she has been a godsend when it comes to marketing
I
and
love
and
that.
spreading the word to get more and more people to play. Because since this is because of the nature of the tournament, I can't just grow very easily. I can't just be like, I'm just going to create a division with a whole bunch of guys and then we'll add a whole bunch to the list. We really have to keep growing women playing in order to grow the size of the tournament. And so, with WOFF, with Unwind, with Wendy's help, with some of these other women's help, it just spread, and they send it to their friends, they send it to their girlfriends, their like I said, their parents, their kids, and it's really just grown so much. And we have, like I said, we've got couples, we've got whole families that are playing. um Gina Noble has herself, her
Yes.
daughter, and her husband all playing in the tournament. So it's really cool to see the families. And then I think it was last year when we did merchandise, we did baby onesies because we had a couple families who are amazing supporting us that wanted onesies for their kids. And
Oh,
it's just so much fun to see little kids spouting it. And the one of the coolest success stories that we had, came from the father daughter league. So
yeah.
we've got two, the Jason Snyder, who runs the group on Twitter for people who haven't made it in yet, to get them in. He had always wanted to do fantasy football with his kids because it was something big that his father did with him. And when we created the division for daddy daughter, and he was able to introduce his daughter to play, it was, he was just over the moon. But then the kind of the I don't know, the coolest thing that has really come out of this has been Addison Kennedy, who she joined with her dad Ryan, and she wore the Battle of the Sexes shirt to the expo last year and was
I
like the
love
talk of the
her.
town. And she's been like so fantastic. And then we got the Sneaky Girls playing this year. And so it's so cool to watch the next generation playing. And when we were able to get Play Like a Girl to donate T-shirts to all the kids that were playing last year, it was just so cool that they were able to do that.
I
Yeah, snow
love
cone.
that. I
It's a
love
little bit of time.
Addison. Yes. Come on, Snow Cone. I love Addison. She was on the show as well, and she is a very smart cookie.
Yes,
Very smart. Very smart.
it's
I
crazy how
love.
smart
I
these
love
girls
that.
are.
Yes, I love that. And when they have a show, she talks with two little girls as well. Like, it blew my mind
Yeah,
how well they know about football, about all these players. Like, I don't know anything. Like, I would
I
be
know.
like, huh?
I know. Like
It's
my
amazing.
I put on football for my girls, and they're like, "Can we put something else?" like they
Yes,
like let me tell you, one way that the NFL could get into fantasy football or get to girls is like have a Barbie, game. Like how they have Toy Story, like
true.
include that somehow or something. But yeah, when they've incorporated like the Toy Story into the games, and that was such the funnest thing to watch that play out. So
I agree. I agree. I'm still waiting for female football at some point. Not flag
yes.
football, female football at some point. Um,
I actually had a friend when I years and years ago in Ohio. I had a friend who played girls football, and it was a lot of fun. It was coached by Icky Woods. I don't remember the Icky Shuffle.
easy.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's out there, and they have a lot of fun doing it. So
My
yeah.
girl plays rugby. It's not
Oh,
football, it's rugby, but she plays rugby. And it's crazy. It's a
that's
crazy game, I
intense.
can tell.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it is. It is so intense. So tell me a little bit about, are we gonna still talk about the battle of the sexes? Did you have any hesitations from potential female players or early on?
I did. So there, like I said, there was a little bit of hesitation from some
Yes.
big name people who I was trying to recruit to play. I think they didn't like the idea of pitting men versus women. They just think it should be, playing against each other. But then when I introduced them that like we're going to be raising money for breast cancer, we're going to be raising money for prostate cancer, raising money for Play Like a Girl, really trying to, it's set up only to create a equal environment to play with just like a fun tagline to it. It really started, I think, open and changed the minds of a lot of folks. And it's that being said, we've had some rough and tumble stumbles along the way. You really have to. I'm trying to be very inclusive in the chats, in the
Yes.
groups, and so anytime that there's anything that is negative or whatever, I either try and shut it down, or in some cases, people have been blacklisted from playing because the
Wow.
whole point of this is to make it inclusive. And so when somebody asks to switch to a different division, or they tell me on the side that they didn't feel comfortable with something, I immediately step in as best I can. I can't follow everything all the time, but I do try and do my best to make sure that whoever is playing is having the best experience they can, because that's the whole point of this. It's about having fun. You can rib each other a little bit, but at the end of the day, like there's a line that is sometimes a little bit too far. People know that line, but I think everybody who plays seems to have a really good time playing and likes the tournament. A lot of people have told me it's one of their things, one of the tournaments they look forward to every year. So um, yeah,
Nice.
I have to think about what the next theme is going to be that we can do for next year.
So, how did you choose living beyond breast cancer, zero prostate, and play like a girl?
So living beyond breast cancer was Kelly and Phoenix.
Yes,
She dealt with her battles with breast cancer and
true.
recommended to us Living Beyond Breast Cancer as the charity to support. So that she's one of our good friends, one of Wendy's good friends, and is an amazing person on her own. And so that's why we chose that one. And then I wanted to choose a foundation that supported men's cancer as well. And Zero Prostate just seemed like a good one to choose. And then being a girl dad, I'm like, I want to support girls in STEM and sports. And so I saw Play Like a Girl, and I really wanted to donate to them. And the money that gets donated, they are allowed to open camps. They do these field trips for girls. They do all kinds of things. And they've gotten girls into flag football. They're partnered with the NFL. I had a call with their CEO last year, who was amazing, telling me all of the things that they do. So it's just a
Man,
really great organization.
I love that. Dennis, why I'm ready for Halloween? What? So Dennis is telling me it looks like I'm ready for Halloween. So let's see. So, what stories from beneficiaries have moved you the most, Mike?
Beneficiary. I mentioned Jason, and I think that was kind of one of the coolest things is he was telling me about how much he did fantasy football with his dad
Yes.
and how he was able to bring that experience to his girls, which I thought was really cool. Um, Personally, it was I have the division that I run has a lot of my friends and family in it, and so having my mom, who's never played fantasy football before, getting mad at my dad because he was taking too long drafting his picks, like and creating a monster in her was just a lot of fun. And just I think the whole thing about it, getting people excited about it, the seeing little babies in onesies with Battle of the Sexes on it is like a really cool experience. So yeah, I think just all the little stories along the way add up to make it just such a fun thing to do.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. So, what future charities initiatives would you like to launch?
Oh man, I've got my enough on my plate right now with these right now. So I think one of the things that I had thrown out the idea of this year is a chopped Battle of the Sexes league, which would be a lot of fun. And I already thought about how it would run. It would be a like a chopped Food Network kind of thing, with the divisions being male and female uh, all stars from the Food Network. So I think that might be something that is in the future. Um, and we actually have partnered with Unwind. So the winner of one of the Unwind tournaments gets a Battle of the Sexes, and then we're going to give them a merchandise from one of our the winner of the overall thing is going to get something from our site. So we're trying to do more to partner with WAF and Unwind, just because like without them we couldn't grow as much as we are, and it's so
Love
cool to
it.
see how much that's taken off. um, and just being able to play a small part of it, is pretty exciting.
Nice. Dennis, Adam's family tonight. I'm Adam's family. And we're going to shout out for Dennis because he just found out that he's having a girl. And
Yay!
in February, she's going to be born. And all the best, Dennis. All the best. That's great news, my friend. Great news. Good luck. Let us know if you have a Super Bowl baby, Dennis. We would love to hear about it. That's amazing. I love hearing this stuff. So talking about girls, how do your twin 5-year olds influence your free time priorities?
No free time priorities. No, so it helps that I work from home. That's where I get
Yes.
some of my free time. Um, they come home at 3 o'clock and they're like, "Dad, I want a snack," and and so I try and get them just involved in a bunch of different things. Now that they're in kindergarten, we've got them involved in nearly something almost every day. But they definitely keep me on my toes.
Yes.
They take up a lot of my time. Um, you know, the, when I joke that I have no free, I if anybody who has more than one kid, like once you start to get, um, once you get outnumbered, it's like two kids is it feels like it's not too bad. I've never known what one kid was like, so I couldn't tell you what that is like. But once you get outnumbered, it's a game changer. So yeah, it's but they're like as much as they can be frustrating, as much as they don't listen, you get those like glimmers of when they like get excited about something, or they're able to like they're working on whistling and snapping, like something that is like very simple, but they can't do it, and now that they're able to do it, they're like so excited about it. So
I love
and then
it.
and then we have dance parties, and we played Golden like on repeat with them. So that was fun.
Do they put some makeup on you? Are they fixing
Oh,
your hair and stuff like that?
they
Some nail polish.
they love to put nail polish on. They love to put makeup on me. They love to do my hair. Like I love all of that. So
I
yeah,
love it. I love that you do this with your girls, Mike, because life go like that fast. So I do
it
have
really
two
does.
boys and one girl, and I'm gonna tell you, boys are easier than girls. They're easier. You're
So
gonna find out. You're gonna find out.
I've I've heard that they're easier. So they're easier to be. They're harder at first. Boys are, because they're just like little wrecking balls, but they're a lot easier as they get older. Girls are actually not too bad early, um, but they definitely have a lot of the a lot of personality. We'll just say that.
Yes, they
Yes.
have a lot of personality. I agree. I mean, I'm telling you, my girl plays like she plays hard. She plays hard. So, how has fatherhood changed your perspective on competition?
Well, so um, I've had to rein it in a little bit, because one of my daughters, who is extremely competitive, just like me, when we went out and did the egg hunt for Easter, and we
Yes.
dominated, you know. But then I see when she starts to like knock over her sisters to get in front of them, and I realize that there's a limit to competition, and competition has a time and a place. So that's one of those things where I'm you see and you try and emulate to them, is when is the right time to have competition, and how do you then behave in the way that you compete against other people, because as much as you want to win, if you win, somebody has to lose, and losing never feels good. And so it's that juxtaposition of making sure that you get what you want, but then also uh, it doesn't make the other person feel too lousy on the way.
So, saying all this, what wisdom do your 2-year-old and twins unknowingly share?
So they have become the best of friends. Like our 2 year old is like a little triplet, and they set up chairs to have dinner in a line. They all take a bath together. The littlest one always wants to like do everything the big sisters want to do, and it's just really like cool to see them growing up and watching that. Like at soccer games, the littlest one is cheering them on and wants to play soccer herself.
Love
You
that.
know, and so it's really cool to see the twins through the eyes of the little one, who on her own has her own strong personalities because she's getting to
Yes.
the age where she wants to do everything herself. Um, so I wanted to remember the names, so I didn't want to cut it off. Jonathan Kaplan and Megan Kaplan, the two of them, they are fantastic. They're the one of the ones that initiated me getting the onesies because they had a little girl that
Yes.
they wanted to buy a Battle of the Sexes onesie for, and it is so cool to watch. Every year they put a picture up on Twitter of the three of them all wearing Battle of the Sexes shirts, and it's that I think is what really makes it a lot of fun is when it
I
becomes a
agree.
big family affair.
I agree 100%. That's what makes it, all worth it.
Yes.
What legacy, Michael, you hope to leave for your daughters through your work?
You know, I hope that they, whether it's through, if it's this or if it's something else, I just want them to have the same passion for something that I
Yes.
have because, you know, this, once this started to get to be something, and I realized that it could be something, um, it started to grow a bigger passion to keep it going and make something of it. And I just whatever they choose to do, whether they like football, fantasy football or not, hoping with one of three I can get them. But I just want them to be passionate about something and always go through the world like excited about whatever it is they want to do. Because if you go through the world not excited about what you're doing, then it's like a trickle down effect to everything in your life. And so just being excited, being happy, having fun, enjoying life, making friends, with whatever they're doing.
That's important. I agree. Where do you see Battle of the Sexes in 5 years?
Oh, well, I hope it's still going. I mean, that would be great if it's still going in whatever capacity. I would love to keep growing it. I would love to be more of a partnership with Fantasy Cares and Scott
Yes.
Fish because like I would love for any woman who signs up through Scott Fish to be oh, there's Battle of Sexes, like as an option that they can play as well. And I've always wanted to see a live draft at the expo, and so hopefully that happens within the shorter than 5 years. We got to get that to Bob in order to get that done. But like, I thought it was a natural thing when you see the King's Classic, the Queen's Classic, and then bring it together in the Battle of the Sexes. I thought it would be just something
That
that
would
I
be
foresaw it.
amazing. I hope it's gonna happen. I hope your talk to Bob is gonna make that happen. This would be an amazing thing, and I think it's something new that he can bring to the
Yeah.
expo as well. That's really amazing.
And if you
What?
project it out in 5 years, I would love to hit
Yes,
$50,000. Like that would
let's
be
go.
in the amount donated. I would love to get to that point. I think everybody has kind of seen a little dip in recruitment for some of their tournaments,
Wow.
but
Yes,
I hope that it'll just continue to pick back up again. Um,
I hope so.
yeah.
You're doing a great thing, and I really hope it's gonna go more and more at some point. What advice would you give aspiring tournament organizers?
What I would say is don't get frustrated. Don't even starting off small. If you are passionate for whatever it is that you're raising money for, don't let anything discourage you. There is a large enough fantasy community out there that want to support you, and there's enough people that will literally do any tournament that is asked of them. You see some of the ones that have come out recently that have grown so rapidly. It's just really exciting to see. I would obviously say best ball is the way to go because it attracts people that want to do all these different kinds of tournaments. But the biggest thing is to find a a fundraiser that you are passionate for, because that comes off when you're trying to sell it to somebody else.
That's awesome. So Greg heard you talking about Battle of the Sexes, that you're gonna bring it for the expo, and he's saying that he will send a personal note to Bob.
I,
So
I would
here we
love that.
go, Mike. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Greg, for chiming in. He said he's not gonna be in right now, but he's gonna come back and he's gonna watch the full episode. And please reach out if you want something from him again. So that's gonna be really awesome. So thank you so much, Greg, again. Mike, I really don't want to finish. Like, this is an amazing, amazing episode. I do have a couple more questions to ask
Sure.
you. So, what final takeaway do you hope listeners gain from your story tonight?
I think the biggest thing about this is that to take away is that from a little spark of an idea can grow something amazing and can influence so many
Yes,
people. And then just how awesome the fantasy football community is.
it
You
is.
know, I moved to St. Louis about 10 years ago and didn't really know anybody. And you know, working from home, you don't really get to meet very many people. And honestly, through the community of fantasy football, I've built just this awesome, you know, group of friends, group of people that I can talk to all the time, who are always have your back, who are always there to listen to you. And so I think just like lean on each other and just enjoy playing fantasy football with each other, no matter what is going on in the world. Like it's an awesome outlet. And then yeah, just like enjoy and have fun um, and keep playing. I mean, it's been a blast these years with doing Scott Fishbowl. Get to yourself to a live draft, because there's nothing like it. And just have fun and stay in the chat groups and make friends.
I second Mal's voice. You can hear the passion in your voice, and you are doing an awesome job. So we do applaud you, and thank you so much, Mike, for what you're doing. Uh, we re- uh, we really appreciate it. One more question, that if you didn't watch my show, you're gonna get it tonight, Mike. So my question is, tell me something that is a secret you never spoke of, or something that you did at a young age but you never shared and people don't know about you. So what you gonna share with us tonight on the Game
Ooh.
Changers that people don't know about you?
Okay, well, here's a fun one. So I'll try and keep it fun. When I was a wee little one, I was about my size, and so I dominated basketball. Not dominated, but I was pretty good. And I played on a national championship basketball team with AJ Hawk, future linebacker of the Green Bay Packers, and
Wow.
I have a picture because I have it here. I don't know if it's going to be hard to see.
You gonna
AJ
scan
Hawk,
it and tag
AJ
me with
Hawk
it, Michael.
is right here. So
Wow.
that's the guy who is on TV all the time on ESPN. Um,
I
it
love
is
that.
so we won a national championship in Knoxville, Tennessee. We played at the old Lady Vols basketball arena, and yeah, it was kind of it's just like a crazy experience way back in the day for those Packer
Wow.
fans. So
So you're gonna scan this and you're gonna tag the Game Changers that you first heard it here on the Game Changers, Mike. That's an amazing story. I love it. That's super cool.
yeah,
That's really amazing. That's something we didn't know about you tonight. I
yep,
love
yep.
that. I love that. Thank you for sharing this story. I appreciate it. So before we wrap up, Michael, let our listeners know how they can connect with you online and stay updated with your work, and battle of the sexes, how they can donate, and all the stuff that they want them to know about you and your charity.
Okay. So my name on Twitter is Mr. Aladdin 23, partially because as a young Lebanese little guy, I look like Aladdin, being Middle Eastern. So Mr. Aladdin kind of stuck. So Mr. Aladdin 23. The username for Battle of the Sexes is FF underscore battle OTS. Or you can just find us as Battle of the Sexes. And yeah, please reach out. Please, I keep track of everybody who plays. So if you haven't signed up before, let me know and I'll add you to the list. If you still want to donate, we will make that happen. One of the reasons that I've been able to raise so much money is I take advantage of my work's matching program, and so I've been able to donate $6,000 through my work over the last 3 years, which is really cool. So, but yeah, like reach out to me
Awesome.
all the time. I do a lot of data collection. I build a lot of spreadsheets for all the drafts I'm in. I'm always happy to share and talk about, fantasy football or just life and raising kids and whatever it is you guys want to talk about. I
We
love
will talk
movies. I love TV shows. So I'm always
Lebanese.
wanting to talk about that too. So,
Dancing,
yes.
Michael, dancing. I'll reach out for dancing at some point. I love that.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm still in awe. I'm still in awe.
This is
Thank you
my
so much for
Lebanese.
sharing the story.
This is my Lebanese camel.
Oh my God.
So,
I'm done. I'm done. I love that, like you're from Lebanon, from my country. This is such an honor. I mean, I'm like from ear to ear today. I love having everybody, but it's different when you have someone from your own country like be
yep.
with you on the spot. It's such an honor, Mike. Thank you so much for being here tonight. um Guys, it's such an amazing I really don't want to like end this episode, but here we go. It's almost 1 hour and a half, and I know Mike have to go with his family. So thank you for joining me for this episode of the Game Changers. I hope today's conversation gave you a fresh perspective, not just on fantasy football, but on the game of life. Mark your calendar. Stefania Bell will be joining me next Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You don't want to miss that. Big thank you to JC for his behind the scene magic and for the Powerhouse team at TSA for making this platform possible. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on social media. Stay connected and be part of the Sports Affiliation, a community where every fan, thinker, and change maker belongs. Until next time, keep challenging the game and making your mark. This is Carla with Michael Salwan signing off. We wish you a blessed evening. Have a good night, everybody.